Hello everyone! Welcome to slis600 Storytelling. I'm Laura Haverkamp. I'm your instructor. I am not yet a Dr. Haverkamp, but I'm working on it. I'm a PhD student and I am a school librarian at Dreher High School in Columbia, South Carolina, where I have worked for a long time. I want to tell you a little bit about my research. My main focus is the impact of digital devices on school libraries and what happens when schools give every child a device like a laptop, an iPad, or a Chromebook, and then what happens to the library services, what happens to library usage, what happens to reading in schools that have gone one-to-one with digital devices. I'm also very interested in school libraries and underserved populations and how we attract minority students, ELL students, disabled students to our libraries in schools and make them an appealing place, or to public libraries as well. And finally, I'm interested in how early literacy impacts long-term, how it impacts students long-term. And that's where storytelling really ties in. I have conducted a long-term experiment on my own children to get them to be readers, and I can see how it has impacted their reading and their just simply test scores. And I know we all hate the testing, but we can prove our value by showing how what we do as librarians to get kids reading at a young age and keep them reading throughout their school careers can really impact their basic test scores, which causes people to value us more. Unfortunately, we have intrinsic value, but people who are not librarians don't understand that. Just a quick blurb about me. I am not yet a doctor. I would like to play one on TV, but I haven't been given the opportunity. Haven't really sought it either. You may want to call me Dr. Evil after you see the course content. There is a lot to do in 6 weeks, and I know most of you are educators and you're still in school, and so am I. You're going to hate me. I'm sorry. I have had a very long career as a school librarian. I'm at about year 20 at my current school. I'm a former high school English teacher. I used to work in New York City public schools, and then 1 year at a very poor school here in Columbia. And then I went to USC and got my MLIS. I am a soccer player. I play in the local adult league, and I'm a runner, but that's kind of a misnomer because everything hurts so much that I sort of like limp around. And I suppose you could call it running. Anyway, and of course I do a fair amount of reading, studying because I'm working on a PhD, and a little bit of writing. All right, so part of the reason I'm interested in literacy at home, or particularly interested in storytelling, is that I have 2 kids. This is my older son, Gus. He is just finished his freshman year at USC, and I read to him incessantly. He got 10 books a day. He got read to in utero. I realize that reading to your kids in utero is perhaps a bit neurotic or extreme, but I will say Gus ended up with a 780 verbal on his SAT, which is pretty remarkable. All right, continuing on the same vein, literacy at home. Obviously, this is my other son, Flynn. He had clearly fell asleep while he was reading, but the fact that he was in the house reading of his own accord, I think is probably unusual for teenage boys, but of course they grew up in my house. Anyway, this was all part of my experiment. I wanted my kids to be readers. I read to them a lot. Hearing the stories out loud, because we're going to talk about stories a whole lot, I think is really impactful for young people. They need to hear stories. My kids heard a ton. Now this one is a junior in high school. He's only scored a 720 so far on the SAT verbal, but he got a 36 in reading on the ACT. So something I did with these kids went right. And it's what we need to be doing with all kids. It shouldn't just be the librarians' kids who are getting the stories, which is part of why I'm proselytizing why you're in this class and why you're going to go out and read to as many kids as you can and tell your stories. Just wanted to warn you, this is another part of my story. I have a really neurotic, stupid dog named Moose This is after she had her teeth cleaned and she looks like Snoop Dogg, like she's stoned. Anyway, most of the time she doesn't act like she's stoned. She runs up and down the hallway in my house barking at people who walk by. So when you hear Moose bark, I apologize. She's going to show up in these recordings because I don't have a studio. I do these in my dining room. All right, so if you've had a chance to look at the course materials, you're probably panicking. Please don't panic. I will try to help you prioritize. Also, I am not one of those professors who is going to play gotcha. I'm not trying to catch you doing something wrong. I want you to succeed. I assume everyone will get an A unless you completely flake out and don't turn stuff in, okay? So take a deep breath. What I've done is provided you with a plethora of materials. You have a ton of stuff. I will tell you what you must actually get through. And make sure you're following that schedule because that schedule is going to help you a whole bunch. It's going to keep you on track. Don't fall behind because you don't have time to make stuff up and I'm not allowed to give you much time at the end. So don't fall behind. If you are running into a difficulty, let me know. You got stuck in a classroom doing state mandated testing for 8 hours or something, whatever. Let me know. But this is a tight time frame and we've all got to keep moving. Okay, so here we go. We're going to go look at the class now. All right, y'all, here we are on the summer 2019 storytelling homepage. I'm hoping that by this point in your career as a student at USC, you know how to use Blackboard. I hope. But I'm going to do this quick run through. You don't have to watch the rest of it if you feel like you know Blackboard, but hopefully I won't take too long either, so it might be beneficial to you. All right, so on the home page, the first thing you're going to want to take a gander at is course documents. So I'm going to click on course documents and it opens up and you can connect to our syllabus, which is a Google Doc. Let's see if this will open. The syllabus is up to date. I don't think it's going to change, so there it is for you. It lets you know our purpose here, what we're going to be working on, our course description, all that good stuff. It lets you know how you will be graded, our learning outcomes. Here I'm going to go, tells you our textbook. It is a required textbook. It's called Storytelling Art and Technique by Green and Del Negro. Gives you a little bit that I have to tell you about disability services and all that good stuff and the honor code and that stuff, you know, do the right thing. Also, this might be helpful to you to get a grasp of how you might be graded. You'll be graded on your storytelling. You'll be graded on blogs. You'll have a digital storytelling assignment. You will have a reflective essay. That's easy points. That's supposed to be gimme points. It's like a 5-paragraph essay. Hopefully you all know how to do that. It should be pretty straightforward. Your participation also counts throughout the term. If you do not post in the discussions, if you do not interact with other students, you might lose a couple points there. Your total possible points are 100. The storytelling obviously is the biggest part, but it should be fairly straightforward. So there's your syllabus. The most important course document, I think, is probably the course schedule. That's going to help keep us all on track. This is how you're going to keep track of time, when things are due, all that good stuff. So when you take a look at the course schedule, the class schedule, it tells you what the topics are for the week, when things are due, all the activities. So all your due dates are already on here, so you know when everything's due. It also gives you clues as to when to get started. So this first week, you'll have your class introduction, a background and history in storytelling, preparation and selection of stories for storytelling, and we're going to cover performance, technique, and style. We are hitting the ground running. So strap on, y'all. I hope you all got information ahead of time. I tried to get stuff posted as fast as I could and get information out to you guys. So Tuesday, May 14th at midnight, you're going to post to this discussion board a Getting to Know Me video. The reason I'm having you do a video is because last time I taught this course, my students, one, made really bad videos the first time around, and it was distracting from the storytelling, and to get you comfortable in front of a camera. I find myself feeling quite awkward in front of the camera, and then I have to go put on lipstick, and it doesn't help. So just get over that, y'all. None of us are supermodels, or maybe you are, I don't know, let me know. But the camera's not comfortable. The recording's not comfortable from the get-go. So get in front of the camera. That's why I'm having you do your class introduction, your little bio in front of a camera. I want you to get over your jitters in that and not in your assignment. And we have a blog due. I want to let you know I haven't set up the blogs. I'm recording this on Sunday night. I have not set them up because I'm senile and I can't remember how to set them up, but I'll have them set them up by the end of the day tomorrow. So don't worry, they'll be there. And I have the feeling you'll be busy doing your bio, I hope. Please do read chapters 1 through 3 in Storytelling, Art, and Technique. I really enjoy this book, and it has a huge number of resources. I want to let you know. You're supposed to be looking for a selection of 5 to 7 fables, fairy tales, and folk tales this week. You have a lot of poking around and reading to do. Obviously, reading a fable doesn't take very long, so reading 5 of them shouldn't take that long either. If you do not have access to a library, which would be bizarre, but I hope you do, the textbook has resources in it. Use that textbook. You do not have to go searching all over the place. You do not get special extra credit for going to 6 libraries to find obscure fables. You can use whatever's in the book. Just keep that in mind. All right, so that's your schedule for the first week. I would sort of peek ahead, but if you just stay caught up week by week, you'll do just fine. Also keep in mind, like I said, I am not trying to catch you doing anything. I want you to do well. So take a deep breath and relax. I assume everyone will get an A unless you don't turn stuff in. There might be people who get a higher A because they're really good at storytelling. If you're really, really bad, you might get a lower grade. But I haven't really seen that. I had somebody who was pretty bad. She got 90 last time, but she was a really bad storyteller. And I don't think, I think that's unusual. All right, let's go back over to course documents. All right, for navigation, your weekly content. There's a whole bunch more here before I go to weekly content. I've got storytelling links and resources. Oh, I forgot that was there. You don't even need to use your book. You've got storytelling links and more resources for stories. There are lots of online options to look. There are definitions of stories in this folder. And then, of course, you've got your citations and all that stuff. Do keep in mind that if you do citations, I prefer APA. So that folder has some stuff in it to help you do citations. All right, here, I'm going to go back over. I'm going to go over to weekly content. All right, each week is going to have a folder. Keep in mind that the folder is going to have multiple topics in it. Some weeks will have 2, some weeks will have 3. This week has 3 because this is one of them, and you probably already turned this off and you're not listening. But hopefully you'll listen to the other 2 when I get those up there because they will be full of content. This is just getting you through how to navigate this course. All right, so there you go. You've got all 6 weeks are up. I have put my lectures from last summer in some of the folders, so there's content there. It is my intention to update them so you don't get confused on due dates because the due dates are off. But I wanted to have them up because I know most of you are working full-time too. And so if you have a chance to get ahead, go ahead. My lectures aren't going to change that much even if I update them. So that's your weekly content. And again, you can have 2 or 3 topics per week. And I'm telling you, I'm emphasizing this because I have made that mistake in a class where I watched the first lecture for the whole semester and missed the second lecture. I figured it out before the end of the course and saved myself, but don't do that. There are multiple lectures. All right. Then the discussions are up, I think. Yes, yay. Yay, I actually did this. I remembered. All right, here we go. There's the introduction, and then in the discussions are your slots, your spots to put your other storytelling experiences. So they're already up and ready for you to post. You will also be required to comment on your classmates in these. So you don't have to comment on all of them. I'm asking you to comment on 3. So you need to look at 3 other people's things and make a comment. All right. Then we need to look at assignments. There's really only, there are descriptions for each of the assignments. So you'll have an individual blog. There's a description of your storytelling experiences and a description of the digital storytelling. And finally, instructions for your reflective paper. I have tried to be very thorough with instructions. If you read the instructions and you still have a question, you are welcome to email me. I'm required to use not my district. I'm required to use the USC email, which is haverkam@email.sc.edu. It's the same email formula as yours because I am also a student. It's my last name minus the P at the end. So haverkam@email.sc.edu is how you can get in touch with me if these are unclear, if you ever have a question. Once we get past assignments, there's an assignment submission thing for our reflective paper. There's a little blurb about me. Oh, here, let's look. You've already seen my mug. I finally figured out how to put my face in a little video. So there we go. There's me. Yay. And then at the end, I don't think you can see this yet. The blogs will be at the bottom. I'm just having a mind lapse on how to set those up. So you'll have those. Those will be up shortly. Oh, this got way too long. Anyway, welcome to class. I'm very excited to work with you on storytelling. You'd be surprised at how much there is to know and what the history is behind it and just how much impact it has on children particularly, but storytelling is still a really, really effective way to reach people in a bunch of different ways, whether you're using it to teach, whether you're using it to convince somebody of something, whether you're using it to just share the joy of stories. It's a great topic, great skill to have, and I hope you'll think it's a great class. All right, thanks.